Welcome back to the At Home in Billings podcast. Today we have a mortgage lender, Sandy Wong, with the Cherry Creek division of Guild Mortgage. Sandy, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm a community volunteer disguised as a mortgage lender.
Well.
I like to help people get into housing, whether it's your first house or maybe you're planning, how do I buy a rental? How do I get that vacation home? Maybe I need to refinance to consolidate some debt. Maybe I need to help my kids get into housing. Or maybe you're 62 and older and you're looking at what can I do with a reverse mortgage.
Right.
So I've been lending for about 40 years.
I see.
It's been a wonderful journey. I've been the loan officer. I've been the loan underwriter. Wow. I've been the construction lender. Processed my own loans for a long time at the beginning. We used to close loans in our office before we went to title companies or attorneys.
Wow.
So I've seen a lot of changes, understand a lot why it is the way it is now. But it's been fun. And, you know, it seems like I have one of the best jobs ever because people buying houses are happy.
Yes.
People who are refinancing and they're going to come out in a better financial picture are delighted. So really, really good place to be.
So you've been there for 40 years. What makes you stick around? It's all of the happy faces you see, right?
Yes. And I think it's a sense of feeling like, let's figure out what your goals are. You know, buying a home is not a cookie cutter experience at all.
No.
You have a lot of choices, but to say, what's the most important to you? Are you looking at how much money do I need for down payment? What's my monthly payment? Are you looking at, I'm only going to be here for 3 years. Is it worth it to buy a house? Should I continue to rent? Should I look at buying a 2-unit home and rent out the other side? I mean, there's lots of options. And to be able to really show someone, you know, here are your options, pros, cons, what to consider for each. What's the best for you to meet your goals?
Exactly. So for the new home buyers out there who are interested in buying a home, what should they ask or what information should they already have before they come and speak to you about their journey or their goals?
Sure. Well, if, you know, they're prepared to have some documents together, whether it's pay stubs, tax returns, paperwork to show what their income is, have an idea what your monthly payments are that are going to show up on a credit report, and what's your credit history? Have you been making those payments on time for the last 2 years? But more than that, I think get in touch with what your gut feeling says.
Right.
How much do I think I want to pay every month? How much can I take out of savings? Do I have other resources that I can come up with money to have more down payment so what I'm financing is lower and my monthly payment's lower? So have an idea of what are you looking to do? What's your plan? How long are you going to be there? And then, you know, have a conversation about here's where I'm at. Here's my snapshot. Here's what's important. And then let me, you know, ask you enough questions to get an idea about, okay, here's what you might consider.
Sounds like a lot of self-analyzing and then coming over to you so then you can really figure out these are your options, these are your avenues, and then find the perfect mortgage plan for them, right?
Yes, because I like to say, I like to help you with the house you want to buy now and your next home.
Yeah.
Whether it's a bigger home or a rental or a vacation home, you know, let's make a plan for now and then 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, what does it look like for you with housing?
Let's touch back a little bit. I want to talk about the reverse mortgage. Now, that's something new to me that I've never heard of. So can you elaborate on that? Can you tell me about it?
Sure. So a reverse mortgage is available to somebody who is age 62 or older. It has to be their primary residence. You can use a reverse mortgage to buy a home or to refinance. Oh. It's an FHA loan, but you don't have monthly payments for principal and interest. You're still paying property taxes, homeowners insurance, HOA fees if there are some, but you aren't making a principal and interest payment every month. So that can help you as far as, you know, just getting your budget, you know, intact. It used to be a lot of times people would think the reverse mortgage is a survival or a last effort to try to hang on to a property.
Right.
It's not like that anymore. People are using it like, this is a tool. I can keep more of my money in savings, in investments. The fear of, what if I run out of money? It can be abated a little bit if you say, well, let's use the reverse mortgage to eliminate that monthly expense that you're paying. You're not going to have to take so much money out of your savings accounts, your investments. You're going to hold on to your money a lot longer. And it's just a strategy to be able to feel a little bit more comfortable while you're still in that home that you love.
I'd like to touch a little bit more on the new home buyers.
Yeah.
You know, people who are currently renting, who have a little bit of money saved, but they're having a hard time figuring out what they want to do with the rest of their life. How easy is it to really get into a home loan?
Well, I think it's really easy.
Yeah.
Really easy. Yes. Do you need to have a stable source of income? Yes. What does that look like? Well, a lot of people are doing 1099 type jobs. Maybe they are door dashing. Maybe they are delivering from Target or Walmart. Maybe you are an Amazon contract delivery driver. So it doesn't have to be, I make X number of dollars an hour, here's my pay stub. It can be all kinds of income. But anyway, we do need to talk about income, stable income, averaging income. Take a look at what your other monthly payments are.
Yeah.
Do you have car payments? Do you have student loans? Do you have credit cards? That sort of thing. We do take a look at what are your sources of money for down payment. Maybe you can tap into some sources for down payment. So you may not have to come up with it all on your own.
Right.
So I think, in a 30 to 45 minute conversation, we can, come up with some pretty good strategies as far as what can I do? What does it look like? How much money do I need? What are my payments going to be? So that someone can get an idea. Is this something I want to follow up on, pursue, actually make application for? So I think it's pretty easy.
Yeah, it sounds very easy, especially with a lot of the benefits out there.
Absolutely.
So Sandy, let's talk a little bit about VA loans for the veterans out there.
Sure.
What kind of information can you tell me about those?
VA loans are one of my favorite types of loans to work with. One of the biggest benefits is 100% financing. A veteran does not need down payment. We can finance 100% of the sales price as long as the property appraises for that sales price. Now, they still may need some closing costs, or they're negotiating to have the seller to cover some of those. We can still tap into some down payment assistance programs that help cover those closing costs if they need to. Now, sometimes people think, well, I can only have one VA loan at a time. And if I live somewhere else and I had a VA loan and now I live here and that property is a rental, maybe I can't use my VA eligibility. That's not necessarily true.
Wow.
There are some mathematical computations we have to do. There's a formula that VA has, but you might be able to use your VA entitlement again to buy a home that you are going to live in your primary residence where you are now, even if you have another property you previously financed somewhere else as a veteran.
Interesting. So let me get this straight. If there's a veteran out there who's looking to buy a home and he already has an existing home that he lives in under a VA loan, he can still purchase another home as long as it's a primary residence under another VA loan?
Correct. So it has to be something that they're going to move into and live as their primary residence in order to use that VA eligibility again to buy a different home.
So Sandy, we talked a little bit about 2025. Let's talk about 2026. For the rest of this year, how do you kind of see the market going?
It seems like here in Billings, we don't have the high highs, we don't have the low lows as far as the big swings in the markets. It seems like prices have stabilized. Mortgage rates are better now than they were a year ago at this time. It seems like people who say, I'm waiting for prices to come down, I'm waiting for interest rates to come down. Well, I would suggest that perhaps instead of waiting for a price to come down, maybe consider, if I buy now, what appreciation might I have in my home in 2 years, in 5 years? Maybe the value is increasing that way more so than can I wait and see if a price comes down. I don't think we're going to see a lot of price reductions. That hasn't happened so far. That doesn't seem to be our trend. I think prices have stabilized. As far as rates are better now than they were a year ago. I think having a strategy about, okay, if here's the rate, how do I structure my deal? What's the best loan option? Do I ask the seller to contribute to some of my costs or to buy down my rate? I think having a strategy as to how do I structure that financing, getting pre-approved, and being ready when you find that house that, here's the neighborhood I want. It has, 3 bedrooms. It has the garage I want. All, the fence for my dog. The fence to put the swing set in the backyard for my little one. All those kinds of things. I think, talk to a lender, get ready, find out about, how can I put this together? So money I'm coming up with feels good, the monthly payment feels good, make it work for the seller, make it work for me as the buyer, and put it together. So I think 2026 should be an awesome year for people who want to do a little bit of footwork to get ready, understand that there are some options. It's not cookie cutter deal. Just because your neighbor did it this way doesn't mean that this is going to work for you or this is the best thing to meet your goals. But put together a strategy, and this is a great time to be looking to buy a home.
That sounds amazing. Yeah. So for 2026, for a new homeowner who's looking to buy a home, what should they prep to do? I know we touched a little bit about stable income, making sure that they're ready to jump into this journey. But are there any kind of, I guess, tips that you would give to them?
Sure. Well, this time of year, we've just put Christmas behind us, and a lot of times people go, "Oh, gosh, I was shopping and I applied for this credit card because I could get a 20% discount on my purchase on my Christmas gifts, and I applied for that, and I applied for that." So when you're looking to buy a home, probably as a general rule of thumb, avoid that urge to just open new credit cards on a whim. Try to pay down your debt if you can. Try to make it so that you don't have credit inquiries for the last 3 months. Again, do you need that loan? Do you need that credit card? If you do, great. But if you don't, it's just a whim. It's just an option. Try to let that set for a little bit. So
Right.
you've got maybe 90 days since the last time that your credit was pulled for that purpose. Take a look at just your overall finances. Ask yourself, am I comfortable with what I'm paying for rent now? Is that where I think I need to be on a house payment? Do I think I could move some things around? Am I paying for something I'm really not using? What can I do to get my budget in order so that whatever I'm paying for a house payment really feels comfortable for me and I'm ready to go?
I see. Okay. Let's talk about the rates. Currently, the rate is sitting at roughly 6. Is that right? Or
Low sixes. It fluctuates. It seems like every day we get rates in, but in the low sixes for a 30-year fixed rate is about where we are.
So my mom, she has a interest rate of 2.5, which I think is insane. How am I able to get an interest rate like that?
You're probably not. We went through that unusual time frame with COVID where, the government was trying to spur consumer spending, kind of keep the economy flowing, that sort of thing. A lot of things went into why those rates were that low at that time. I wouldn't expect to see those rates that low again, but that doesn't mean it's still not a good idea to look at buying a home. When you look at,
Right.
what's the cost of rent? What about appreciation? Building equity, all those good things, still might be a good time to buy, even if that interest rate isn't where it was maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yes.
And here's something interesting about that, too. As I reach out to my past customers to say, hey, do you still love your house? Do you see yourself moving, buying something else? And they say, oh my gosh, I've got this really great interest rate. I'm under 3%, but I'm drowning in debt. The cost of everything has gone up so much. And we have credit card bills, and we had to finance a car, and we took out a personal loan. And I really don't want to do anything with the house, but I'm really uncomfortable. And as we go through those and I say, well, how much is this payment? How much is this payment? How much is this payment? And we look at the equity that they have in their home. The value's gone up. Their loan balance is fairly low. And we start talking about, well, what if we did a debt consolidation? We can do a new first mortgage, pay off your current first mortgage, take care of that 60, 80, 90,000 in other debt.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can save $900, $1,000 a month. And so when I hear them saying, I'm drowning in debt, it's like, I know, we're all holding on to that wonderful interest rate. I love saying my rate is 2.75.
Yeah.
But if you're drowning in monthly payments, maybe it is time to consider, let's do the math. Let's see what we can do. Does it feel better to have $1,000 a month in payments overall and feel a little breathing room and stay in your home than to hold on to, I got bragging rights. I'm at 2.75 on my mortgage.
So Sandy, what is one thing you wish everyone knew before working with you?
I think everyone can be a homeowner. A lot of times people think there's a reason, there's a barrier, and they're surprised when they find out that isn't a barrier. There's a lot of things that people hear from friends and neighbors that, oh, well, we couldn't do this because of this, and they think it applies to them too. Well, everybody's situation is different. It's not cookie cutter. And maybe what was said to you was a little slice of the information, but it wasn't the whole pie.
Right.
And it isn't one size fits all. And so just because something applied to your friend, your neighbor, your nail tech, it doesn't mean that that's going to be what applies to you as well. So it's, there's a lot of options out there. There's a lot of opportunity, and it costs nothing to have a conversation. It costs nothing to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And so why not get started? Why not explore it? And then you can decide, hey, am I ready to move forward? Am I not? But at least I have the knowledge. At least I
Yeah.
know when the time is right. Here's the steps. Here's what I should do. Here's what I should consider. Here's what's out there.
So for anyone who's looking to buy a house or get refinanced, how can they get a hold of you?
Sure. Our Guild Mortgage office is at 3127 Central Avenue. We're in the strip mall where Great Harvest Bread and Stewart's House of Vacuums is. Phone number 406-855-4829. Or you can look us up online, guildmortgage.com/Sandy Wong.
Perfect. Thank you, Sandy, for being part.
Absolutely.
Yeah.